2009, I have been Commissioner of Archeology and Museums. I have restored and conserved many monuments, including the Government Museum Chennai, the Trankabar Fort, the Thirumalai Nayakar Mahal Madurai. And therefore, I am also at present, because of the vision of the Honorable Chief Minister, in a merged department where I am in charge of tourism, culture and Hindu religious endowments, because all these three have something to do with tourism. Now I will go into the historical past. If we see, now after the linguistic provinces came into being in 1956, the first one of course was 53, Andhra splitting from the then Madras Presidency, where Madras was the capital, and now it is of Tamilnadu, now called Chennai of course. We keep changing names, but the place remains the same. There is a lot of interaction. I mean, it's not a lot of interaction, it's a continuum. If we see, even from the Chola era, the imperial Cholas of 900 AD, the sons-in-law were the Telugu Cholas, and they were in Rajahmundry and other places, from where their navy went to Vietnam, Cambodia and conquered all these places, and where we have our Angkor Wat and Siem Reap temples, the Borobudur of Indonesia and Malaysia. All of this is from the Chola Navy. The Navy was based somewhere at the mouth of the Krishna, and if we go even earlier to the Amaravati era, 2nd century BC, of Satavahanas, again this Navy went carrying monks to Anuradhapura and Ceylon and down south also. Then come the Vijayanagar Empire. We were all ruled from Vijayanagar. The whole of South India was ruled by the Vijayanagar kings. Then this became under the suzerainty of the Hyderabad Nizams, the northern Sarkar Prince, and his vassal, the Arcot Nawab. Therefore, culturally and even politically, this has been a continuum, this Tamil Nadu and Andhra. If we see archaeology, Pattadakkal and Aihole are called the universities of archaeology. They have every style of architecture, like Nagara, Vesara and Dravida. And the same can be said about Mahabalipuram, and which is now called Mamallapuram. Again, which was in the same, this came little later, Mamallapuram came little earlier, 6th, 7th century AD. 4th, 5th century AD is Pattadakkal and Aihole. So again the same, learning from each other. So Tamil Nadu basically does, as part of the Andhra Carnatic Sarkar's plains continuum, heritage tourism with the same style of Dravidian temple architecture. Vesara is peculiar to the Andhra area, which is the rounded shape of the Vimana. And we have adventure tourism. We also have in our World Heritage Sites, the Tanjore Temple and so on, the Nilgiris Hill Railway. We have medical tourism, which is very, very important, which is again thanks to the hospital complex of Shankar Nethralaya, Apollo hospitals, all in the Egmore area, where the government museum is there. The same gentleman who developed this cinema industry in Srinagar, now the same Ramana Naidu Garu has developed it here. The medical tourism was developed there first, and now it is moving to Hyderabad by the same entrepreneurs. So if you see, it's more or less, it develops in Madras, Chennai, and then spreads into Andhra. Another point which I have to stress is, like Andhra, the southern states by and large do not have law and order problems. Shri Banerjee was talking about that badge. I also wore a badge in English and Hindi and took it to our Chief Secretary and said, this is what I got out of that conference. And our Chief Secretary, being a lady, said, good for you, you got a badge. And the law and order is not a problem. Women are safe. There could be an isolated incident anywhere in the world, but by and large we don't hear of any incidents of law and order. We also have a tourism police of sort, where the government of India first said we will give you the funds, and finally they didn't give the funds and we started the police from the state funds. We also have boating. Again, talking of safety, we insist on wearing of those what do you call safety vests and so on and so forth. Infrastructure is much talked about. In the earlier days, of course, maybe it has something to do with the luck of the tenure of the incumbent. There was some infrastructure funds inflow from Government of India, but nowadays they are insisting on utilization certificate before within 6 months of giving out a project, and unless one is going to give a false certificate, it becomes a problem. Therefore, is UC becomes IC and UC and we see each other. So that's how we call it the utilization certificate. Cleanliness, yes, what the gentleman from the Foreign Service talked about is very important. In certain places we have been able to create, most of the places we have toilets. It's not the problem of physical infrastructure so much as maintenance of the infrastructure. One outstanding example where we have released out to an international quality service provider is Tirukazhukunram Park